Cool. Well, welcome everybody to the Erik Anders Lang Show. This is absolutely by far the biggest podcast we've ever done. And I really want to say thanks to Cisco for making it possible. I think that, with what's happening today, the role of technology in kind of everything we do, whether it's, for you guys, practice, which I really am curious to learn about how this has innovated the way that you guys are working on your game, but also staying connected, staying entertained, staying involved in, the most important parts of, our lives and our jobs and our families and our friends. So really just want to say thanks to Cisco for being involved in, making, connections possible through technology and in their, efforts to give back during this difficult time with, helping hospitals and communities get online with technology. So thanks everyone for joining me. I think, why don't we go, we're going to do this WebEx roundtable. Why don't we go around and tell everyone kind of where we are and maybe a little bit about how your practice routine has, changed. I'm assuming that since you guys have all turned pro, this is the longest that you've sort of gone without really being involved in competitive play. Let's start, Brendon, with you.
Well, my career has been really up and down. So, I've had some stints of, some long stretches of not having competitive play. But, for me, this is really just feels like an extended summer. I've got 3 little kids at home. They're 1, 3, and 5. They're not in school. So, we're just hanging out every day, trying to teach them a little bit in the morning, do lunch, do nap time, get out in the afternoon and play outside with some friends. And, we've got some really good neighbors here with little kids that we all feel pretty comfortable that nobody has the coronavirus. So we're getting out there and playing baseball and swinging and all that kind of stuff. But for me, the country clubs around here for the most part are closed, with the exception of some casual walking play. So I've gotten out there with my 5-year-old and walked a couple nines, and I played one round with some buddies last Friday, Chris Kirk and a couple other pros. We got out there and competed a little bit, but the weather has been pretty tough this year, a lot of rain, so it's not much of much golf weather around here, and so I'm just kind of taking it off and not playing much.
That's great. That's great. I think the experience of my family consists of myself and my dog over here, and I know that our relationship has kind of I could tell that he's like aware of something different. Jessica, your dog Charlie, is he kind of aware of anything that's going on? You normally travel with him, so you're not traveling with him anymore. How has that kind of changed and about where you are and what's going on with you?
We just play a lot more in the yard, and we're lucky that we're in Florida with really just spectacular weather right now, which obviously sucks that we can't go out and play golf. They just closed our golf courses yesterday. So it's an adjustment, but I think he loves it. He's like, I think we've been on maybe 30 walks in the last 2 days. So he's like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm tired. This is it. Too many walks. But I'm trying to add as much training into it as I can as well, just to keep him on his toes.
That's good. Training. How do you do that? How do you train a puppy?
He's not a puppy anymore. He's 2. So he did the basic training, but now we're, it's longer periods of stay and like leave it. He's just paying attention to me more than the ground and sniffing everything, because we did nickname him Sir Sniffs a lot. So yeah, just trying to do general kind of training and teaching him more patience as well, and that tires him out as well, so which is really good.
Right. Keith, how has for you technology played a role? Has it played more of a role in your connections with family and friends, or in innovating the way you've been practicing over the past couple of weeks?
Well, first and foremost, I haven't touched the clubs since we went on quarantine measures, so it hasn't enhanced my practicing at all, but it's helped my communication with my family for sure. We do the nightly happy hours, I guess you could say, when we all get on a call and we get to see each other. And it's been nice to just kind of sit at home and and actually use your TV for once, because we're on the road forever where you never get to use kind of the stuff at home. And it's been really kind of a pleasure to actually do nothing for once.
Yeah, I know for me, I think I don't have too much in common with you guys, other than the fact that we travel a lot. I'm not very good at golf, and luckily people don't really care whether or not I play well. But I love the game, and that's been the interesting takeaway for me is like I've been saying that I want to travel less and spend more time at home, and that opportunity has sort of come full center, and I'm actually kind of enjoying it. I'm curious to know, Maverick, what's your take on the technology being so front and center right now?
I definitely love people's internet bandwidths are a little more overloaded nowadays because everyone's working from home when they can. And I think this whole situation shows how much more interconnected our world is. And I think we have become more reliant on technology, but I think we're really seeing how necessary it is for us to keep in contact in times like this when we really can't have as much social face-to-face interaction.
Victor, I think, were you the last winner before this all kind of went down? Or was there 1 week in between? There was
Honda and Bay Hill, so 2 winners before.
Yours sort of stuck out though with the photos of you kind of celebrating there. Can you talk a little bit about like have you spent time kind of reliving that moment, watching highlights, or how has kind of technology played a role in what you've been focusing on over the past couple of weeks?
It's cool to kind of, especially the weeks you do well, kind of have a video reference of what you did under certain moments and kind of look back and relive that moment. But what's crazy with the PGA Tour versus college events is that you have pretty much a new tournament every week, and it kind of helps you reset a little bit more. But sometimes it can hurt you a little bit that you're not kind of taking the time to really enjoy the moment. But no, I mean, it's been great just looking at videos and, watching the last putt go in and in some of the shots that I did, it really builds that confidence.
Well, congratulations there. Danielle, we can maybe pivot the computer over there.
I'm here. Hi.
Hey, Danielle, good to see you.
I see you.
Can you talk a little bit about how, has technology played much, and has technology played a role in that, or is it more for kind of the social life?
To be honest, for me, technology would be more for social life. I think I've used less technology, to be honest, after this entire quarantine thing, because now that I have time to go venture out in a weird way, since we're supposed to be quarantined, I go and keep hiking all the places that are opened. So I only use it for taking pictures or letting people know where I am.
I actually am curious, before we get to Nelly and talk to you about the same question here, Danielle, you talked a little bit about how you would rather, I'm curious to know what you'd rather practice outside than on a simulator. And it's apparently a lot of tour players feel that way. What are you looking for? Because you're not getting the same feedback. You don't have a TrackMan.
True. I think for me, having a TrackMan, having the data is very helpful to an extent. Sometimes I just kind of like pretending that I'm right. So if I hit the shot and the TrackMan tells me I didn't hit it that far, then I go, no, I did. But then now if I don't have data, I could just say I did it. It's just more the casualness of it. So, but however, when I need to dial in the numbers, when I need to know exactly what kind of clubs I need to be playing and matching the sets and building your clubs and all that, we definitely need all the data. We need the technology. The technology tells you you're wrong most of the time. That's why I like just the outside range.
Right. Nelly, that made you laugh. Why did you laugh at that?
I mean, I don't use TrackMan either. I don't like numbers. I try to stay away from TrackMan as much as possible. I usually depend on feel. The only time I'll ever use TrackMan is usually to try and test clubs, but I don't like looking at the numbers. I rely usually on my caddy or my coach just to look at it to tell me if it's good or not.
Usually the only time I use technology is just to video my swing. That's
Interesting. And then when you video your swing, are you looking at slow motion with angles drawn on it by a swing coach, or are you just kind of like, oh, that's not really what I'm looking for?
No, I mean, I usually just do a face on and down the line swing. And then I just try to check the points where I usually kind of fall back on. When I start playing a lot of events, then I usually revert back to my old tendencies. So I just check those and to see if everything's still in check.
So, moving away from the technology bits here, I've seen a lot of people cleaning out the garage. Has anyone on this call taken up like a task that's been needing to get done for a while?
I've actually started trying to move into my apartment. It's been a process for like about a month now.
Brendon, what is it like? So you basically become the teacher?
Yes, that is brutal. I feel like my life is unrelatable to the other athletes on this screen here. I mean, just this morning, I probably cleaned up like 6 meals. I had pen written all over couches, chairs. I'm trying to send content videos, trying to get things set up for this. So it was an interesting morning for sure. Coincidentally, I actually paid somebody to clean my garage out, my toy garage, about a month ago. So now the goal is to keep it neat and make the kids put their toys away every day after we play outside. So, I mean, our life is a constant battle of keeping things neat and organized. And we do a pretty decent job. If I took you through the house right now, I mean, you'd be like, all right, that looks pretty good for having 3 little kids. But I mean, every day is just a up and down between, it looking like a total disaster or looking pretty clean.
Right. Keith, I feel like you're watching something good right now. What are you watching?
My life is so opposite of B. Todd's right now. I haven't gotten out of bed before probably 9:30 in a week. And I usually wake up, make some coffee, and then sit on the couch until lunch. And I've been crushing Blacklist. I don't know if you've seen Blacklist. It's an old show. I don't know.
Yeah.
It came out forever ago, but it's a great, I don't know. It's great. I watch it all the time. And then I either go get takeout or cook food. And then I'll probably go fishing off my dock. And then I'll either cook dinner or get takeout food. And then I'll go to bed. So I've been the opposite of the Brendon Todd life.
So you're driving to get takeout. Is there a go-to?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a go-to. BT, have you seen my Jeep?
I've just heard about it. I don't think I've seen it yet.
You have a picture? Go to us on your phone.
I'll see if I can flip it around on the screen. So
it's classic. It looks like it's from Stranger Things, kind of.
Well, let's put it this way: I haven't quite made it to that show yet, so I can't help you there. I'm pulling it up. How we doing? Can we see it?
It looks good.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's red.
Yes, it is. So what it is pretty much a 2-door Jeep Wagoneer. So it doesn't have the wood on it, but it's like a 2-door version of that. So it's kind of like an old Bronco, but a little bit bigger. And fingers crossed, it has been running really good. So let's hope that it can stay that way because I might not be able to get it fixed.
It took you a while to get it right, didn't it?
Oh, 6 months probably.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So the best part was I ordered it, shipped it from Colorado. It got here and it wouldn't start. So I pretty much bought a car that didn't work.
Felt like a genius.
Yeah, I felt pretty dumb, but I finally got it figured out. It's been running great, and I probably drive it more than my other car just around the island for sure.
Keith, you're talking a little bit about how you don't have a swing thought, but you're saying that you need one. I'm curious to know, maybe Victor, Jessica, or Nelly, anybody. Do you guys could you loan Keith a swing thought, something that you're working on?
I just have one. I don't know about Jess.
You're the only one playing golf right now.
Yeah, thankfully all the
like you're literally the only person probably on here that is playing golf right now.
Yeah, I've seriously played every single day, and every single time I'm out there, I'm like, I don't even know why I'm out here right now. But my only swing thought is shoulder to chin. That's it.
Backswing or
My backswing? Yeah, backswing, shoulder to chin.
like, am I doing it right? How am I doing?
Yeah,
Is
that, yeah, you got it.
Keith does that exceptionally well. Wear the face, baby. That's all I care about.
Yeah, you were saying that. Victor, what's your swing thought?
I'm just trying to hit bombs. I think Keith needs to start off. We're trying to shave the stash. I think that's going to help him first.
Hobby. That's what I've been working on. You asked me what I've been doing during this quarantine. I've been working on my mustache.
What about that beard? It's kind of lacking.
I think Walgreens sells just for men.
Victor, on a serious note, I want to know your swing thought when you do that, like hitch, like try
Pump?
to stop it. Yeah, like the pump. What's going through your head when you're doing that?
I'm just trying not to slice the crap out of it. Basically, is what I'm doing. So
give us
when
a little tutorial of your hitch.
Well, okay.
I want to see this thing.
I'll stand up. I'll leave my church pew in the background. Yeah, so basically I just take my backswing stop around here, because when I go really fast, I'll go up here and my hands get so far out and I just end up slicing it. But when I stop mid backswing, I can kind of keep it, I can keep taking it up on the same line, and I can kind of feel like I'm coming more from the inside on the way down. So it just helps me kind of draw it a little bit more. But I haven't been using it all that much lately because I've figured out a little different way of hitting that draw.
And you're not going to share that at all.
It was it was a secret. No, I just try to channel my my inner Bubba Watson basically, and I'm just kind of standing over it, and I feel like I'm just going to suck the club in as far inside as possible and exit it way right after the ball. It's basically just, yeah, very simple like that.
I feel like a lot of people,
if I'm trying to hit a draw.
I feel like a lot of people wouldn't think of Bubba Watson when they're going into a swing just because he's so unorthodox.
Yeah, I guess, but you're trying to, at least if you kind of have an image like Bubba Watson, there's so much feel there. And if you try to recreate that with feel, it usually works out better than if you're trying to, okay, I need my lead wrist to go into flexion or whatever, and then you just kind of lose sense of what you're doing.
So I asked everybody before the call a couple questions, and you filled them out. There were some interesting takeaways. The thing that I thought was kind of the most interesting is we said, what is your favorite part of your golf swing? The way it looks, the result, or the way it feels? And everybody said the way it feels. I don't know what it feels like to be you. I've always wondered what it feels like to, have an efficient professional golf swing. When you say that the way it feels is your favorite part of the swing, Brendon, what does that mean? Like when you think of, is that impact or is that sort of the finish? What's the feel?
I think for me, it's just flushing it, just getting the club face square, hitting it out of the middle of the face, just what it feels like to hit a pure shot. And I certainly am not going to sit here and say I've got a awesome golf swing and it looks pretty. So of the potential answers, I thought that was the best one.
Good. Maverick?
Yeah, I think we're talking about swing thoughts, and I think most of us, when we're hitting it really well, it's just something very simple. It's like a key or a trigger, and that's more of a feel. I think everyone's a feel player, no matter how much you get into technology and data. And I do love stats and technology and information, but I think the key for me is translating that into a feel, because if you can't swing on a number, you have to swing on a feel. But for me, the numbers help guide that feel, and they help make me realize what I need to do and what I need to feel to hit a certain shot. And just like Victor said, he needs to feel a draw to hit that shot. You can get swing path numbers from TrackMan or whatever it is, but it all comes down to how it feels when you swing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like they work together, but when you're out there actually trying to perform, you're thinking, okay, it's not a full shot and my feet are closer together. You practice that and rehearse that with numbers, and then you go out and it's just completely a guessing game. I mean, I think it's crazy that the caddy doesn't have a rangefinder. I mean, I don't want to get into some type of political debate here, but I mean, that's a hard aspect to the game. Keith, you're looking around. What is that? What do you think about that?
Well, it was funny when you said political debate, and I was weighing the difference of a normal political debate in the world right now versus a political debate of a rangefinder, and it kind of made me laugh. Like, how many people, like right now, I mean, we're in a bubble of this crazy world right now, and we're having a political debate of which to use rangefinders. It was just ironic, I guess, is why I was laughing. But I will say there is an argument out there that rangefinders would potentially slow play down from the middle of the fairway.
I believe we should get rid of yardage books.
Whoa. Okay.
What?
Yardage books.
Money. I would pay money to see you play without a yardage book.
Exactly. It stresses me out. I just don't want a yardage book, no greens book. Just go out and play and let's just eyeball it. See who has the best feel.
You do
So
that
I
in
did
the next
play-
event with Ollie. Just go
I just
cold
really
turkey. Just
You don't ever have to get yardages. You guys. Looks
I'm just
about
not going to say
150.
anything. I mean, Victor, what do you think about that? You seem like you've got something to say.
I mean, so I'm in meters, and that wasn't really a big change for me coming to the United States because I played in college and we were allowed to use rangefinders, and I was very reliant on that rangefinder. It didn't really matter if the yardage books were in yards because I would, just stick to my trusty rangefinder. But I think for me, I wouldn't complain using a rangefinder. I think I'd use the yardage book less if we were able to use a rangefinder. But I don't know if I'd be completely fine with cutting it out completely. That would I would definitely lose my job.
Nelly, I'm curious to know about, what are you doing the most of right now? Are you like on social media? Are you watching videos? Are you video chatting? What's the primary?
Well, I kind of turned on, in iPhones, you have like that screen time thing built in now. I've turned it on to see how much time I have spent on social media. And yesterday, I think I put on like that I can only be on social media for an hour. And I ran out by 9:30 a.m. I'm so bored.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm so bored. I mean, that's why, thankfully, all the golf courses are open, and my trainer has like a gym at home. So I've been like kind of doing the same stuff every single day. Like I've had a routine, which is nice. I would have gone insane if I didn't have all that.
Brendon, if you have any questions about social media, now's the time to get these questions. do you have any?
I quit Twitter last summer, and I started an Instagram account in December, I think. And it's only on my wife's phone. I don't even use it. So I literally can say I'm on social media 0, which I love, actually. I can't stand staring at my phone. I'd rather be talking to my kids or friends or my wife or
Eric, he's in
walk
a
or doing
different
nothing.
generation than we are. We got to remember that. He's one up here.
Yeah.
So I'm like 55. I mean, social media is just terrible for you. I can't stand it.
Right. What about Danielle? What are you guys watching now?
What am I watching on TV?
Yeah. What's the show?
Say Tiger King.
Well, I don't really watch TV, so your question of what's your favorite Seinfeld character, I didn't know what that was, and then I realized it was a TV show. Yeah.
There you go, Brendon. There you go, Brendon.
I don't want to here. I'm sorry.
No soup for you.
People love The Office. I tried watching The Office. We didn't pass 10 minutes. It was the worst. So then we tried Big Bang Theory, which wasn't so bad.
Yeah,
But-
I'm a nerd. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say you need a nerdy show over there.
Yeah, but I haven't really watched anything. So if you guys have any good recommendations other than The Office, or open ears. But I've heard that we should watch Tiger King. We've heard that every day now.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
That next Netflix show, Nelly, the one where they're the blind love thing.
Oh, Love is Blind or whatever.
Trash TV. Great. Loved
That is
it.
absolute garbage TV. I'm so sorry.
It was garbage, but it was so good, and we were betting on who was gonna marry whom, if they were gonna make it. It was so funny. That's the only reason I watched it.
What happened? I just straight up Googled what happened, and then it just comes up straight up. I'm not. I do. I don't. I do. I don't. I said, okay, perfect.
You don't even have to watch the show.
I love trash TV sometimes. It's great.
Victor, what are you watching? I mean, growing up in Norway, you guys had English TV, am I right? Or is that just Sweden?
Yeah, pretty much. There's a lot of European countries that like to dub the TV shows, but in Norway and generally kind of Scandinavia, you usually keep the English speaking characters on there, and then you just put subtitles. So I'm very used to watching subtitles. A lot of my friends are annoyed by that when we go watch a movie, because I usually like to have the subtitles on. But last night I watched the 2 episodes of the new Westworld season. That's a good show. And then normally I just watch a video on YouTube, and then I go down to the rabbit hole, and then 4 hours later it's 2 a.m. and I got to go to bed.
That happened to me last night. I started this. You're gonna laugh, but I had never. Has anyone seen that show 24? So I had never seen it, and I started yesterday. It's Kiefer Sutherland has to solve like a massive crime, and each episode is 1 hour in the course of a day. So there's 24 episodes in a season. And it's interesting because it's about 15 years old, but it's all about technology, but all of the technology still holds up. So even though I had never seen it, it didn't feel terribly dated. But I watched.
Does he sleep during those 24 hours?
No,
that's the weird part.
So he's up for 24 straight hours.
Yeah, well, the first episode is at midnight, and there's a plane crash, and he needs to solve this, assassination attempt. So he doesn't sleep. He's got a big day ahead of him. I mean, they've made a show about it.
That was my only problem with it. It was a little far-fetched, but I watched it in college.
Yeah. I mean,
about 20 years ago.
I stand behind it. I basically, to Danielle and Maverick, I stand behind it. If you really, I think you'll love it, and I'll money back guarantee if you don't. We're kind of winding down, but I'm not sure that Keith and Brendon. Do you know how many things you have in common? I mean, there's a lot.
According to our questionnaire,
our good looks.
You both.
I want to hear it, Eric. Give us our questionnaire.
It's actually kind of uncanny. You both have 7 hole-in-ones. You both have shot an 82 as a pro as your high, and you both have shot a 61 as your low.
Wow.
I mean, that's kind of uncanny. That's a bit strange. What are the chances?
Keep going.
I mean, that's all I got. I don't know what your middle names are, but that's all I got.
I got a good story about my 82. So I was my first year on tour, and I got invited. I got in the Memorial, which is considered, Brendon could attest to this, considered one of the toughest tracks on tour. And I just had my best week 2 weeks before on tour. I had finished third. And so I was going in there with a lot of confidence. And it's the first round. And the first couple holes, I think I 3-putted 3 of the first 5 holes. And I was kind of frustrated. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then I looked down, and my grip is like twisted on my putter. And I'm like, well, this is weird. Why is I haven't changed my grip. And so then I kind of like dropped my putter down, and the putter head was twisting in my hand. So I had to putt with my wedge the next 13 holes on potentially the fastest, most undulated greens on tour. So it was a really, really good 82.
Why do all your putters
any?
twist off?
I don't know.
Good question.
I don't know. It's a good question. It is a
Happened
good
after
question.
You won?
Yeah, it happened after I won. The putter I used to win the Honda last year was only used for 1 week. It broke the Monday afterwards, so the putter has technically 100% win rate on the PGA Tour.
Do you guys have any questions for each other? You want to think about, what you guys? I don't know how many of you have met before or haven't met before, but we could take a minute to just, I can go on mute here and go hang out with my dog while you guys have a conversation.
I want you to give us some juicy answers that we gave on the questionnaire, Eric.
It was equally split between Kramer and George, 50-50. I was surprised to hear who your favorite golfers were. Mavericks was Tiger. Danielle's was Annika. Keith was Sergio. That kind of shocked me. And Brendan's was Bran. It was GMAC. I was a bit surprised by Sergio. Is anyone else surprised by that?
Yes.
I got some reason behind it. So Sergio was when I guess he came out in 99 when he ran and jumped. How old were you, Brendan? Like 30 then?
At Madonna? Yeah, I was 25.
I was 7. And so I remember that's like my first really golf memory was seeing Sergio
It was the
run
98
and jump.
PGA Madonna, wasn't it?
I can't remember, but I was whatever. I was young as a kid, and I remember that was one of my first memories. And then I remember how cool his golf swing was, and because everybody tries to make their swing perfect. This guy didn't make his swing perfect, and he hit it better than everyone. And so when people ask me the question, who has the best swing on tour, I kind of always say Sergio, and they look at me crazy because his swing's so unorthodox. I said, well, if you look at basketball or you look at baseball, who's the best hitter to ever, or who has the best swing in baseball? Well, it's probably who had the most hits, or who had the best jump shot in basketball is whoever made the most threes. And Sergio, over a 20-year period, has consistently probably hit it better than any other player in the world. And so, therefore, he has kind of, in my opinion, the best golf swing on tour.
Well, it's also a unique swing that's about as simple as it can get as far as being a single plane swing. And I always wondered why more people didn't try to emulate that.
I think it's just because his hand speed is so good. Like his hand-eye coordination is so good that I don't think somebody that doesn't have that level of hand-eye coordination that you could actually teach them that.
Jess and Nelly, did you guys grow up with the same favorite golfer, or were this different?
I grew up with Tiger as my favorite golfer because I was in that age range, I think, where that was the height of Tiger and height of golf. I didn't really know much about the women's game. I didn't really grow up with knowing about the LPGA Tour, and so that was something that I learned about as I got older and started to play in professional tournaments. But yeah, definitely for me it was Tiger, and now meeting Rory and just all the guys in general. It's been really cool, especially moving over here to Jupe. So
I would say Tiger as well, but then Jess as well too.
I was like, hello, it's me.
Yeah, I mean, she is 5 years older. So what year was it when you qualified for the US Open? That was kind of when I found out there was such a thing as women's professional golf. When was it? 2008. I was
15.
2000. Yeah.
2011.
Sorry.
I was 15. It was 2008.
Yeah. So pretty much Jess and Tiger.
Victor, you might have known about women's golf at a young age because of all of I feel like there's a lot of Northern European female golf influence there. Was that true or not? Or not really?
Yeah, especially Suzanne Pedersen. I mean, we didn't really have any male golfers play on the PGA Tour. We had one. His name is Henry Bjornstad, and he played the tour for, I think, 1 or 2 separate seasons. And but with Suzanne Pedersen winning majors and being one of the top female golfers in the world for an extended time, that really that kind of drove golf in Norway. Sure. and especially with Annika and all the Swedish golfers, right next to us. So it definitely put golf on the map in Norway.
Viktor, I had the pleasure last year of going to Lofoten Links.
Okay, yeah.
It's this, if you guys haven't seen it, it's the northernmost links course in the world, and it's inside the 64th parallel, and so in the summertime the sun never goes down, and it's this incredible golf course on the Arctic Ocean, I guess, or I don't know, but it's just absolutely stunning. I'm curious if you wouldn't mind maybe going bit by bit, and maybe each person thinking about, given the current scenario where you're not practicing, you're not playing golf, but imagine if you could go wherever you wanted. Where would you go to just totally take a break? And maybe we can kind of wind down on a bit of fantasy.
So my grandparents in Norway, they're from a really small town called Vadheim, and there's probably around 700 people in that town. My dad grew up there, and just a 360 view, you see mountains that are probably 4,000 feet up in the air, and they're literally right next to you. So you can't really see anything. There's a little ocean out there in one area, and then just in the middle of a valley, surrounded by mountains. And literally just go there and hunt, go on hikes, pick berries, whatever. There's not that much to do there. So I'd probably go there if I really just had to do nothing for a couple of weeks.
That sounds nice. Nelly?
Well, my parents and my whole family, they're from Prague, Czech Republic. So I'd probably want to go back there, see my family. The city's amazing too, so there's always something to do. And the golf courses there are really pretty, so I think I would go back there.
I didn't know they had a lot of golf there. I had been there once, and I was, I didn't play much golf, but that's a good idea for. Yeah.
Yeah, there's this one golf course that we kind of grew up. It's called Karlstein, and you kind of look over the Karlstein Castle. I think it's the second hole, and it's really pretty. That's actually kind of I started playing golf there. That was my first tournament was in Prague.
Yeah, it's our home golf course when we played golf there.
Brendon, what about you? Where would you go? Where would you take the family?
New Zealand. New Zealand's the best. We've been to Queenstown on the South Island. Go down there and play like Cape Kidnappers and go bungee jumping and hiking and skydiving and stuff. Will be fun.
You'll play golf on vacation. Is that the same with everybody, or is that just you?
No, not me.
Well, I mean, I would probably, yeah. I mean, if I'm going there, I would probably play one of those courses just because it's supposed to be pretty cool.
With rentals, or would you bring the sticks?
Probably with
Persimmon rentals.
Would be ideal.
Persimmon.
Could you have fun?
You going, Keith?
Golf?
No,
I did. Speaking of rentals, we did that
really
at Pinehurst. We did that at Pinehurst where we played, and you rented persimmon and hickory shafted clubs. That was actually fun.
What was that your first time hitting wooden shafted clubs?
Yes, and it was fun. Now that is not my fantasy to go, to rent wooden clubs and play, because it's really hard. But speaking of rental sets, that's not to get off topic, but to answer your question about rental sets, if I was to rent, it would be that, and it's pretty fun.
Keith, did you break any while you were using the wooden clubs?
No, they were pretty sturdy, I guess, and I didn't chunk one, so it was good. It was good.
Maverick, have you played with wooden clubs, or?
My best friend gave me a wooden driver for my birthday one year, and the club head's about that big. It looks like the ball's bigger than the club head, but I love it. It's fun. It goes about 250. Yeah, it's fun. It's a little stressful because you feel like you could hit it anywhere.
Right. And where would you go? Where would you travel to right now?
Lake Tahoe is my happy place. Just a little log cabin up there. It's quiet on the lake. That's where I want to be.
And then slowly pan the camera to Danielle. Let's hear her answer.
I actually wanted to go to Africa, but Someone convinced me not to go. So I'm not gonna name who, but that's where I would go. And I was gonna go because technically, you know, it wasn't a banned country where I can't go in and out of. But yeah, I didn't go. It was okay. It's okay. I'm in Vegas.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places I like to visit that are not in the travel listing right now. So
Yeah.
You need two answers, Erik, on this, because
Please.
I need real fantasy and I need like completely makeup fantasy. Because makeup fantasy would be go back to college Saturday game day in Athens against an SEC opponent. That's makeup fantasy if I could go anywhere. A real fantasy would probably be island hopping in the Bahamas, fishing between islands, because I don't know if I could really do that. I mean, that does kind of make up fancy too, but that would be dream vacation.
That does sound nice. Having some type of island involved is great. You live on an island currently.
Correct. It's not as island as you would think. I mean, BT, didn't you live here for a little bit? Or you been down here a bunch? I mean,
No, I've been there a lot.
There's probably 20,000 people on St. Simons where I live. It's considered an island because you have to take a bridge, but it is very much a inhabitable place and not like tiki huts where you're, nobody's within, 15, 20 miles of you. But it is very much a island living, I guess you could say, because you can ride your bike to the grocery store and, to lunch and to dinner, etc. And have the ocean. But I mean, I would equate it to a Jupiter or a Palm Beach.
Who of the 8 of us is doing the most cooking, do you think? Or 7 of us, I guess. 8. Really?
I mean, we're cooking 3 meals a day for 5 people every day.
Okay, I fold. You win.
yeah, never mind. I already did.
Yeah.
You're the thing.
I was like, I bake. Does that count?
What are you baking, Jess?
Avocado toast. Just put on.
What?
I said I make avocado toast.
I tried a really good lemon pound cake. I baked blueberry muffins this morning. I'm just trying to gain some inspiration and make them healthy. So like not like 2 or 3 cups of sugar on top of each other. So I'm like honey and yogurt and dark chocolate chips. Something sweet, but like not overly sweet. And then I try to hand it out so I make sure that I don't go this way. I still need those golf clothes to fit, even though they have an elastic band.
Yeah, when was the last time who put on a golf outfit most recently?
Really?
I have one on right now.
Yeah, you're gonna go out and play today?
Yeah, I'm
I'm playing
actually
this.
I'm going out after this.
Is anybody jealous of Nelly right now? I am.
No.
Everyone's like, no.
This is longer. This break is longer than our off season between over Christmas into the next season. Like this break that we're having right now is legit longer than our off season.
I've literally never been in Florida during this time of year since I started playing professional golf. Like, I don't know what like a March or an April in Florida look like.
So interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. It's a good time of year. I feel like a lot of people come to Florida this time of year.
God, no, let them
So
go
nice
home. It is. It's beautiful out.
Viktor, I'm just curious to know, last question really, before I invite you guys to ask each other some questions. What's your workout routine like? Are you doing much right now? Or I feel like you're on top of your physical fitness.
I haven't been doing much. There was a stretcher at the end of before this break. I started running a lot. I was so bad at running before, and my feet would hurt so bad. But after a while, I started running a little better, and I got hooked. And then I didn't really want to. I wanted to, put some weight training as well to that. So I started lifting some weights, and as soon as I got back, I probably lifted some heavier weights for the last 2 weeks. And then all the gyms shut down, and it's kind of hurt my motivation a little bit to do stuff. But we're going to try to start it back up with some home workouts. Try to do the basics.
And where are you getting the home workouts from?
There's a guy back home that I worked with for 3-4 years during high school and the year before high school, and he kind of sent me a program yesterday, and we're going to try to be a good disciple and finish it, follow it.
That's great, man. So does anybody have any questions for each other? Do you have any things you want to talk about or any thoughts?
I want to know if Nelly and Jess, if y'all you still get mad at each other when you play and beat each other.
Only when she knocks me out of the top 10 on purpose. that has happened. I'll have like a career round. Like I'll come back, I'll have like whatever 7-8 under, and I'm feeling good about myself. Like, yeah, I can finish inside top 10. And she looks up at the leaderboard and has a birdie on 18 and goes, "Oh, if I make this, I can knock her out of top 10."
Yeah. I mean, I turned to my caddy. It was like I think it was like Michigan, my rookie year, where I did that. And I turned to my caddy. It was like a 20-foot putt. I'm like, I'm going to make this to knock her outside the top 10. The first thing I see on my phone was a text message, "F you."
Wow.
I'm like, you're paying for the hotel. Like, this is so not okay.
Yeah. About it. She doesn't like to play against me anymore.
Ooh, I got a table in my living room.
I know Keith has a table. I bet Victor's good.
I'm terrible. Swedes are good. Norwegians are terrible.
At what?
Ping pong.
Ping pong. Table tennis.
Nelly has
table in my room.
she has one shot, and she's dirty at it.
Yeah,
that's about it.
I feel like if you call it table tennis, you're automatically better than if you call it ping pong.
Is that like the difference in using golf as a noun and a verb?
Going golfing?
Yeah, I'm going golfing.
Or I'm going to golf today.
You don't say you say either, "Hey, let's go play golf," or "Let's go golf."
Golfing is not a verb. I think we all agree on that, right? Golf.
I heard one argument that made sense, and it was using it as a lifestyle, as in surf. So you're a surfer, or you surf. You can say, "Oh, he's a golfer. He golfs." Now that sounds really terrible, but it was the only possible explanation I could even remotely think about using it that way.
It hurts
I'm not so sure about that Georgia education.
Me either.
Technically speaking,
still made it to college.
I didn't go to college either, but it says in the dictionary it's a verb, which I don't know if I would approve.
Well, there you go.
Interesting.
There's a political debate right there.
It says, "Can you say golfing?" It says those serious about the sport do not use the verb form. Even Golf Digest refrains from using the word golfing. Fascinating.
Yeah.
While swimmers may go swimming and cyclists go cycling, golfers do not go golfing.
There you go.
I might start using it just because.
We're true elitists.
When do we think sports will resume in America?
That's a very good question.
I'm going
I
with
didn't hear that. What did you say?
What month this year do we think sports will resume?
September a while back.
I think July.
It just hurts me.
I think July.
July, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, how are they going to come back? We don't know. The thing that I heard that I was mostly curious about was October 15th Masters. Have you heard the stories about them canceling hotel rooms in Augusta and sort of checking with the local schools about extending Christmas or fall break? So that
Yeah. That's exciting. I would love for that to happen, obviously, but I was pretty skeptical because I thought that an October Masters it'd be very late to drop the Rye overseed for the spring Masters if you wait until the end of October, but if anybody can spend the money on figuring it out, it's them. So I hope they figure it out.
I had seen some imagery of Augusta in the summertime, and someone said, "Oh, look, it's all dormant." But then when we look closer, I think they actually peel back a lot of the grass, and it's just sod, really.
Yeah, they kind of resod it and take all the sand out of the bunkers and redo it every summer.
I wonder if they're still going to have like the 6 feet apart rule. I mean, or are we going to play sports this year with no fans?
I think there's a better chance of us starting back with no fans more than there are us starting back full bore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have
It would make more sense.
travel.
This is terrible, though. I mean, that's no fun, but
Yeah, the fans make it for sure.
What would it be like to play without fans? I mean, that I couldn't even imagine.
go watch the
Junior golf
this
is
is
your
not-
parents.
go watch college golf or sometimes on the
Yeah.
Corn Ferry Tour.
Yeah, I'm going to say junior
Awesome.
golf right there.
Actually,
Pictures, this is awesome.
Thursday morning in Minneapolis at your 6:45 tee time. It's just like that.
Harder to focus.
When I played my first
Less exciting.
women's open, I played a junior tournament right after, and you at the US Open, you're just like always like, thank you so much, and always raising your hand to thank the fans. And you get to the AJGA event, and your dad's clapping for you, and as a reflex, you just raise your hand. And you're like, oh my God, one person, yes. So probably like that.
It's probably how you play every day, Eric. I would assume, very similar, right?
Yeah, exactly. One person clapping, and it's just the person who I pay. The guy holding the camera. Awesome, guys. Well, I mean, any other things you want to discuss before we end the call?
Cool. Thank you guys for hanging out this morning.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, that was fun. Stay safe, y'all.
Thanks for everyone's time.
Great. You too, everybody. Look forward to sharing this soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.